1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 SEC teams in the top 25. So there you are. The SEC has the most teams in the top 25 right now with 8. And that should shock. I combined the words shock with surprise and accidentally started saying surprise. Oh boy. But yeah, that's your top 25 the way it stands right now. Kind of what to expect for this coming football season. A few minor notes. The best of the rest that were just outside the top 25 here to start would be Mississippi State and Texas A&M, Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech, Utah and Penn State. That'd be about it. But yeah, so that's the top 25 as it stands right now. Now, if I'm going to go out on a limb here and try to make a little bit of predictions before we put balls on fire out and jump to the next segment of the show, yeah, you know what? I should probably do that, huh? All right, so Big Ten, come on, you got to pick Ohio State until proven otherwise. I'm picking them in the East, and I'm picking them, whoever wins the East, I'm picking to win the Big Ten. Big 12, I got a feeling it's going to be Baylor is more likely than TCU. I feel like TCU has a couple question marks, and possibly they've been overachieving. I wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma, you know what, actually scratch Baylor. I'm going to go off map. Baylor and TCU, who are ranked 2 and 4 right now, neither one of them will win the Big 12. It will be the Oklahoma Sooners. That's my prediction. So I got Ohio State winning the Big 10. I got Oklahoma winning the Big 12. Let's see, in the Pac-12, I'm gonna go rogue there as well. Pac-12, we're going UCLA, Arizona State, or Arizona. Let's go Arizona State. Let's go with the Sun Devils to represent the Pac-12. ACC, I think we're going to go with the Clemson Tigers in the ACC, or possibly Georgia Tech. Definitely not Florida State, but officially it is the Clemson Tigers. And then finally in the SEC, that's a tough one. How do you pick against Alabama, right? But Auburn's good, Georgia's good, LSU's good, Ole Miss. Let's go with official final prediction is Georgia. Georgia winning the SEC. All right, so that would put then my prediction for the 4 teams to be in the playoffs at the end of the college football regular season would be the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Georgia Bulldogs, the Arizona State Sun Devils, and because then from there we don't even need an actual division winner. It doesn't have to be Clemson if they win the ACC. It could be second place Alabama, out of the SEC. Because ACC is going to have issues with strength of schedule. A lot of these are actually. If you're not in the Pac-12 or the SEC, you're at a disadvantage in the current playoff format. Let's see. We got Ohio State and Georgia and Arizona State and Clemson. Okay, that's my 4. Those are my 4 teams. ACC is going to have a representative. Those are my 4 teams in your playoffs at the end of the year. I will be happy if one of them prove to be correct. But there you go. Wow, that's a lot of college football talk, and that's just the opening segment here on the show. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Their Balls on Fire has officially been put out. But we got lots of show left. Thanks again for tuning in. If you're listening on WNLM Radio or Spreaker app or the TuneIn app or SoundCloud or YouTube, no matter how you enjoyed the show, thanks for going balls deep here on Wednesday nights with me, Scotty Ball. All right, lots more to talk about here on tonight's Balls Deep. Whoa, Scotty Ball, slow your roll and hold the mayo, please. There are actually 2 more very small, quick college football stories to squeeze in. And then we'll get to the next segment of the show. Move on with the show, I should say. However, we got these two that I just remembered that we got to squeeze in. First off, USC Trojans head football coach Steve Sarkisian, who we talked about last week. A lot of people have been talking about for the last couple of weeks after his drunken and medicated rant that landed him into the public eye in a negative light here this last week when he, as like I said, listen to last week's show on Spreaker or tune in if you missed it. But anyway, USC head football coach Steve Sarkisian, along with his, alcohol issues, substance abuse issues that he's dealing with at USC as head coach of the Trojans, it has now been announced in this most recent week that his wife will be filing for divorce from him as well. So when it rains, it pours, or as we say here on Balls Deep Sports Talk, and this is the PG version of the saying, by the way, but it is an exclusive Scotty Ball saying, based off of the saying, when it rains, it pours. When it poops, it's diarrhea. And believe me, if you can't quite wrap your head around that, just go ask one Mr. Steve Sarkisian, and I'm sure he would be able to explain it to you into great length and detail. All right, and then the other college football story that I almost forgot, but how could I? It's the biggest college football story of the year, and we haven't even got into week 1 of FBS season. But as the FBS season is starting, that means the FCS is starting as well. Division II and Division III schools and colleges. Now, if you follow any of those, you would know that the North Dakota State University, or NDSU Bison, have been an absolute dominant powerhouse dynasty in college football over the last 4 years. They have won back-to-back championships. That's right, they have won 4 consecutive national football championships. And they did not lose a single game in any of those 4 consecutive seasons in a row. So heading into this season, everybody's just going, well, it's foregone conclusion, NDSU again. So what happened? Last week, the University of Montana, in what will go down in the annal logs of history as an all-time classic, epic, come-from-behind shocker for the ages, Montana defeated the NDSU Bison to hand them their first loss in over 4 years. And it was just a great finish, a great game. Hold your heads high, NDSU Bison and Bison fans. It was the best thing you can do here. The worst thing you could do here as, the university or as fans would be to turn into Yankee fans, or Red Sox fans, or Cowboy fans, or Packer fans, any of these organizations who win a bunch of championships, Patriots fans, Chicago Blackhawks, any of these organizations who win a bunch of championships, and then the second that they don't win the championship, it's all, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to return to glory? Oh, we haven't won a championship in 3 years. Come on, okay? So, again, my advice to everyone associated with NDSU, be proud, be thankful, and just keep moving forward. And again, congratulations to everyone at the University of Montana and their football program on their huge, epic, for the ages victory over the NDSU Bison last week. All right, now that's it for college football, and we got to be moving on with the show. Before we get into our meaty topics for tonight, what say you we squeeze in a quickie or two? Now, we already mentioned the passing of Chocolate Thunder Daryl Dawkins last week, former NBA 76er, basketball legend. But we can't remember him enough, or anyone who has passed on, so I bring it up again. We also mentioned that the Floyd Mayweather versus whatever his name is, Berto. It's like Andre Berto, that's it. Yep. Wow, I didn't even have that written down on the sheet. I remembered that. Good job, Scotty Ball. All right, but so we got the Floyd Mayweather versus Andre Berto fight happening on the 12th of September, so a week from this coming Saturday. and it is very possible that this will be Floyd Mayweather's swan song inside a boxing ring. That is what has been announced, at least. I don't buy it for one split second. I think he has to have at least one more boxing fight in the ring in his professional career before calling it quits. I don't think he can retire on this fight. There's such little buzz, little attention, like nobody cares. It's not selling at all the way his super boring fight with Pacquiao sold back in May. So I don't see Floyd being who he is, what I understand of him to be at least, which is very limited from my outside perspective, but I feel that he is just way too conscious of a legacy guy, of his own legacy and his own place in history and what he wants that to be, to let this Berto fight in a week and a half be his, his encore, his exclamation point. Like, I just don't see that at all. So in my opinion, that's the one interesting thing, to keep an eye on for a storyline going into, throughout, and then ultimately coming out of the fight, is if it is indeed ultimately the last match that Floyd has in his professional career as a boxer. We will just have to wait and see. It has been announced that it will be. However, like I said, I'm calling shenanigans. Okay? Not buying it. But we'll just have to wait and see. Alright. Let's keep firing off some quickies while we're at it. We'll get the golf out of the way, as I mentioned at the top of the show last week at the PGA Tour event at the Barclays, or it's called the Barclays, one of the two. I don't know. That's what I got out of it. Golf just isn't covered after the fourth major the way that I'd like it to be. So it's really hard as a PGA fan who actually does, participate and watch throughout the entire season to get to this point in the season, because not only does the casual fan check out after the fourth major, but sports media checks out after the fourth major. It's really disappointing. Like, I'm pretty sure there's still like a season-ending, cup standings tournament, like the Ultimate Trophy Award thing going on yet. I'm sure we'll have probably the Ryder's Cup at some point in time, unless that's not, not till next year or something like that. I'll have to look into that. But it just, like I said, it disappoints me, the lack of coverage and interest that everybody has after the fourth and final major, the PGA Championship. And so it does make it more difficult for someone like myself to stay in touch with the season, even, because, technically their season's still going on, but in all reality, it feels like the season ends with that fourth major. And that's something that golf needs to find a way to do a better job with. And that was the whole point in implementing the FedEx Cup to begin with. But they just have not done an adequate job, let alone a good job. They haven't even done an adequate job of promoting that and just, creating that event. But anyway, Jason Day was your winner at the Barclays this last weekend. I believe that's the first of the 4 FedEx Cup tournament, sites. But again, there's no coverage anywhere anymore. It's like you type it in your Google search or on Twitter and nothing even comes up. It's bringing me to frickin', buy more followers sites and stuff. Like, it's just, no, the word golf isn't anywhere in here. I specifically typed in the word golf. But anyway, so Jason Day, like I said last weekend, was your winner at the Barclays. He shot a 19 under to win the tournament. This coming off of his 20 under to win the PGA Championship, which, by the way, broke the record. It set the record for the lowest score to par ever to win any major in the history of the sport of golf. So not a whole lot better you can do, And then, like I said, to come out then and not have any kind of letdown, lapse in focus or motivation or energy on the part of Jason Day and just put up another 19 under tournament and win it, like, that's extremely impressive to me, especially when you got a young guy like that who's coming off of his first major win, and it's the last major of the season. General thought would lead you to think that that guy's probably going to check out. He's going to enjoy and celebrate and ride this, his major